सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda, and we are currently in chapter 34 titled Footprints on the Sands of Time. And in this chapter, the lives of a number of different saints from different regions of India are being discussed. Last time we read about the Alvars, the poet saints of South India, and who are in the Vaishnava tradition. Now the Shaiva saints, Nayanmars of South India. According to one tradition, the worship of Shiva was introduced in South India from the north by a saint called Tirumular. Whether this is true or not, the Shiva worship has great antiquity all over India. In the south, it is associated with the 63 saints called Nayanmars, whose images are found in all the important Shiva temples in Tamil Nadu. Like the Vaishnava Alvars, the Shiva saints belonged to all castes. There were Brahmins, kings, potters, merchants, farmers, hunters, shepherds, and fishermen among them. It is difficult to determine the period of all of them. The four most important among them, called the great Acharyas, lived between the 7th and 9th centuries AD. They were Upper Jnana Sambandhar, Sundaramurti, and Manika Kavachakar. The hymns of the first three are called Devaram, and those of the last saint are called Tiruvachakam. These are sung in all the important Shiva temples in the south. These four saints represent four different attitudes towards God. Upper followed the path of the servant, Dasa Marga. Jnana Sambandhar followed the path of the good son, Shataputra Marga. Sundaramurti followed the path of the friend, Saha Marga. And Manika Kavachakar followed what is called the true path, Shat Marga, that is the path of knowledge. The lives of great saints are full of miracles. Appar was born in the relatively low caste of the Velagas. In early age, he embraced Jainism but was reconverted into Shaivism by the influence of his elder sister. He then spent his life moving from place to place, singing the glories of Lord Shiva and doing humble work in temple premises like removing the weeds, etc. His poems reveal a mind of high order. In one of these he sings, "As fire in wood, as ghee in milk, the luminous one lies hid within. First fix the churning rod of love, pass around the cord, intelligence, then twirl, and God will bless thy sight." Another hymn says, "He is our mother and father, He our brother and sister, He is the creator of the three worlds. If you can remember in our hearts the beloved of the gods and the dweller in the flower city, will he be the unseen helper of all." The word Appar means father. He got this name because another saint, Jnana Sambandhar, addressed him this way. This younger saint came from a Brahmin family. It is said that when Sambandhar was a small child, goddess Parvati herself came down to earth and fed him as a mother. After that, he blossomed into a child prodigy and a great saint. He died at the age of 16. The third great saint was Sundaramurti, born of Brahmin parents. It is said at the time fixed for his marriage, Lord Shiva himself came in the guise of an old man and claimed him to be his bond slave. He thereafter wandered all over the south, praising Lord Shiva. He is also said to have died in his youth. The fourth great saint was Manikavachakar. He is also said to be a Brahmin and in his youth became the chief minister of the Pandya monarch. He was once entrusted with the task of buying horses. But on the way he had a vision of Shiva as his guru, and at his behest spent the money meant for the purchase of horses and building a Shiva temple. Forgetting his ministerial duties, he lived there serving the Lord. The book of his hymns, called Tiruvachakam, is one of the most popular devotional books in South India and is said to be of the highest literary merit. There is a Tamil saying that declares that nothing can melt the heart of a man whose heart does not melt on hearing the hymns of this saint. He preached an uncompromising monotheism and love of God as the means of attaining them. But his love of God was tempered with knowledge. In Tiruvachakam he says, "Beyond created time and space art thou, without beginning and end, yet thou dost create the many worlds, preserve, destroy, procreate, and through manifold births, thou leadest me by thy grace to dedicated service. Imperceptible as the fragrance thou art afar and yet so near, O inscrutable mystery, who elude speech and thought, indissoluble as the sweet juice of cane and cream, commingled in the fresh pure milk. Thy distilled bliss permeates in the hearts of thy beloved duties, our mighty Lord, who cleaves asunder the continuity of births." The whole of the great book is full of deep insights into the mystery of creation, God's real nature, and the soul's experience with the divine. But everything is blended with intense love. Lines like the following are found throughout the book. "Haste, O haste with the garland, bind his feet. Encircle, gather around, follow, and leave not. Clasp him, though he eludes. The incomparable one trumpeted his coming, made me his own. A sage he came and showed himself to me." The book Tiruvachakam also describes the various stages through which the soul passes until it is united with the Supreme Spirit. The great saint is said to have died at the age of 32. Of the remaining saints, Kannapar the hunter and Nandanar the untouchable are the most famous. There were 3 women saints also, of whom the most remarkable was Karaikal Ammaiyar. Karaikal Ammaiyar. In her youth, she was very beautiful and was married to a rich merchant. Soon the young husband found that she was a saint endowed with extraordinary purity and devotion. He did not want to lead a worldly life with her. He secretly left the place, settled in a distant country, and married another woman. When Karaikal Ammaiyar heard of this, she went to see him. But the husband and his new wife fell at her feet and told her relatives that they looked upon her as a divine person. When the saintly lady knew that her married life was at an end, she prayed to Lord Shiva to take away her celestial beauty. Immediately, she was turned into a hideous-looking old woman. Ladies can appreciate the greatness of the sacrifice more than anybody else. She spent the rest of her life in a place called Tiruvalangadu, utterly free from body consciousness, ever witnessing the great cosmic dance of Lord Shiva. It is said that the Lord himself addressed her as his mother. About her attainment of the final goal, she says in one of her poems, "We have conquered death and avoided hell. We have uprooted the bonds of good and evil karma. All this has been achieved by uniting ourselves with the sacred feet of the Lord, who has burned to ashes the fortress of the Tripurasuras with the fire of his eyes." Apart from the 63 ancient canonical saints, there were also other saints who came later. One of them among them was Patinatar, who lived sometime before the 10th century. Patinatar, who lived sometime before the 10th century. He was a rich merchant who carried on a large trade by sea. One day he learned that one of his storm-tossed vessels, laden with rich merchandise, had arrived safely in the harbor. In a very jubilant mood, he went to the harbor. In his absence, the mendicant holy man called at his house for alms. The lady of the house asked him to wait until her husband's return, but he did not care to do so. Instead, he left the place, leaving behind a small packet. When Patinatar returned home, his wife gave him the packet. On opening it, he saw only a broken eyeless needle. The truth suddenly flashed in his mind that after his death, not even such a worthless thing as an eyeless needle would accompany him. He immediately distributed his wealth among the poor, renounced the world, and thenceforth lived the life of a mendicant. Another man who had formerly been a king joined him as his disciple, and both of them wandered from place to place for several years singing songs. Having acquired a childlike nature, he used to play with shepherd children. One day the urchins dug a pit, made him stand in it, and covered the pit up to his chin with the excavated earth, all in fun. But suddenly there was a heavy downpour, and the children ran away, forgetting all about the old man. Exposed all night to the cold wind and rain, the saint expired. The poems left by Pattinathar speak of the impermanence of sense enjoyments, evanescence of life, and the need to awaken to a godly life. His moral epigrams are used as proverbs all over Tamil Nadu. The line of Shaiva saints has been maintained unbroken up to the present day. This is a privilege we enjoy in this poor country of ours, materially poor, but rich in spiritual tradition. In the 18th century, there lived Tayumaanavar, one of the greatest and certainly the most popular of Shaiva saints in the south. As a young man, he became a steward in the palace of a king and gained good mastery over Tamil and Sanskrit devotional and philosophical literature. He came across a sage who was observing Mauna, silence, and got much attached to him. It is said that the widowed queen offered herself and her kingdom to the young man, who spurned the offer and left the palace. He then went to another place, married a pious girl, and lived a virtuous life. When his only child came of age, the silent sage suddenly appeared before him and reminded him that it was time for him to renounce the world. Tayumaanavar spent the rest of his life as a wandering minstrel, singing his highly philosophical poems in which he tried to reconcile Vedanta and Shaiva Siddhanta, the philosophy of South Indian Shaiva saints. According to Tayumaanavar, God, soul and nature are the three ultimate categories. Just as the sun energizes the living world, so God sustains and enlivens all the souls and nature. In one of his works called Revel in Bliss, Anandakallipu, he describes the nature of the final realization and shows how bhakti and jnana become one at the highest experience. Tayumaanavar was a great poet and a mystic of a very high order. The teachings of Shaiva saints were codified in the form of 12 sutras, aphorisms, by a sage called Mekandar in the 13th century. His work called Shivajnana Bodham was commented on by his disciple Arul Nandi. This philosophy resembles Ramanuja's Vishishtadvaita in several respects. We have till now spoken only about the great saints of South India, of Tamil Nadu. Other parts of South India too produce many saints. I shall mention only two of these who belong to Karnataka. One was the Vaishnava saint by name Purandar Dasa, who is universally recognized as the father of Carnatic or South Indian system of music. Originally a wealthy man, well known for his miserliness, he later on gave up all his wealth and lived the life of a humble devotee of Vithala, the famous deity of Pandharpur in Maharashtra. His delightful songs, thousands of them are known, can be heard all over South India. The other saint was Bashveshwara, who was a great devotee of Shiva and a great reformer of the 12th century. It is said that he was a Brahmin by birth and became the king's minister. His vachanas, epigrammatic poems, speak of the equality of man before God, need for purity, and devotion to Shiva. He is regarded as the founder of the Veerashaiva philosophy and sect, which originally started as a movement against caste and social injustice. The whole universe is in the system looked upon as Shiva's Krida, play. One of the great women saints of this sect was Akka Mahadevi. Though married to a prince, she renounced the world and spent her time in the forest of Sri Shailam, a mountain peak. Her poems are famous all over Karnataka, and they reveal her intense love for Shiva, whom she called Channa Mallikarjuna. As she progressed in spiritual life, she had the experience of the all-pervading presence of God in every being. In one of her poems, she says, "All the forest is you, all the glorious trees of the forest are you, all the birds and beasts that move among the trees are you, O Channa Mallikarjuna, reveal to me your face, pervading everything." So this is footnote from Women Saints of East and West, published in 1955, page 39. About the highest spiritual experiences, I do not say it is the linga, I do not say it is oneness with the linga, I do not say it is union, I do not say it is harmony, I do not say it has occurred, I do not say it has not occurred, I do not say it is you, I do not say it is I. After becoming one with the linga in Channa Mallikarjuna, I say nothing whatever. Again, this is from the Women Saints of East and West, published in 1955, page 40. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.